Hi everyone, Rose Webster here. Yesterday was actually the media conference that I was able to attend by phone where the pathologists reported on their findings of 7 whales that were necropsied. North Atlantic right whales, of course. Now, from what I gathered from it, there were 15 dead whales. 2 could be attributed to entanglements, and 4 to 5 pointed to what they said, blunt trauma. The evidence for blunt trauma was simply this: severe internal bleeding. Now, severe internal bleeding can have many causes, not just ship strikes. In fact, infections can. Zika in men actually causes blood to show up in a man's semen, for one example. So, I was determined, and luckily I got through, I was determined to ask Dr. Daoust if Zika, West Nile virus, St. Louis encephalitis viruses, because they all share the same phylogenetic clade, if those were tested for, if they could rule them out, and for the presence of Wolbachia. Because for the last 5 to 7 years, Wolbachia-infected Aedes male releases have been going on around the Atlantic in Colombia, Brazil, Florida, and there's other places around the world. Now, I did acknowledge that, yes, there's increased surveillance in the Gulf Stream. There has been theories that there's more whales there. Well, we've only started looking at them there. And I have read things from the 60s that said there was a high presence. People in the shipping industry say, it's simple for a whale to get out of the way. They just dive. Now, I did acknowledge that there are different stages of decomposition. I understand that, which makes it very difficult, very, very difficult to test whales for certain pathogens. I get that. But here's the thing. The way he responded to me was this, and I was cut off. It's unlikely that a mosquito would bite these whales, and from where they were in the advanced stages of decomposition, that was about the gist of it. The bottom line was no. They were not tested for encephalitis viruses, which can cause erratic behavior, among other things, nor the presence of Wolbachia, which is a reproductive parasite, as well as a bacteria. Now, the word unlikely came up in the report, which I combed through thoroughly. And on page 16, it clearly states, involvement of an infectious disease in this mortality event is unlikely. Well, unlikely is not good enough. Can you imagine if my family doctor had said to me, it's unlikely you're pregnant, so let's not test. That is how crazy this is getting. Now, those funding these releases are very wealthy. Bill and Melinda Gates, you said. We've got 4 governments funding it, some family foundations. So there are deep pockets. But you know what it's going to take to restore the ecological balance in some of these areas? It's going to take decades. And you know what we have? We have a minister, we actually have a minister of environment and climate change who has a background in economics and law. But this is bizarre to me. Canada only admits 1.6 greenhouse gas emissions. So even if we got it down to 0, we're only making a dent by 1.6 of the world total. So unless you can get the US, India, and China on board, you're going to do very little. But here's the thing. We've got a decline of more than half of men with sperm counts that are below normal that do not point to genetic causes. We have aerial insectivores with a 51% decline, shorebirds 43% decline, even when birds of prey increased. So we're in an emergency mode. As soon as this hit whales, I knew time was running out. And I've been researching Zika for the last, well, almost 2 years, every day, 24 hours a day. And I'm not funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. I have no conflicts of interest. My only interest is in saving vertebrates from extinction. And the next to go are roseate terns and Arctic terns. There's a whole bunch of probably birds that are going to go next. And if we don't start testing for this now, there's no turning back. Zika and Wolbachia are maternally inherited, and they just keep on going. Thanks for listening.